Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the feedback, Kevin Jones's newest disc with the Collab Series with Prodigy. So first I just want to give a huge thank you to Prodigy for sending me the feedback to try out. As of the recording of this video, the feedback isn't out quite yet. It will be dropping on July 6th, so be sure to keep an eye on your favorite retail stores. So let's go ahead and take a look at the profile of this Fairway driver. So the feedback has a gradual amount of dome and a little bit more pop top than I was expecting, as we'll see in a few moments. Also, the parting line at the bottom of the rim was slanted down more than I was anticipating. Now for the plastic, it feels pretty tacky, it's pretty flexible, pretty gummy. I do like that fact of it. In wet conditions though, it might get a little bit slick, and as you can see, that pop topness there. And with the slight dome, it just makes it feel very comfortable in the hand, both backhand and surprisingly also for forehand. Which, if you've been following this channel, you'll know that I like to forehand discs with a flat flight plate. So with the flight, when I first took a look at the flight numbers, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little intimidated as a slower medium arm speed player. However, happy to report it is not as overstable as the flight numbers say. Once again, reinforcing my belief that you should take flight numbers with a grain of salt. When it comes to backhand, I'll say that it's very straight, very minimal turn in the early or the mid-flight, and then it just has a nice predictable finish. So definitely for backhand, it's going to be a wind fighter, something that I can trust, say just on a sweeping hyzer, or just something I can rip into hard flat, just let it ride out straight and just know it's going to fade. But where the feedback excelled for me was when it came to forehand. Now for forehand, I get a lot of extra torque on my forehand when compared to my backhand, and because that extra torque, I was seeing absolutely effortless flex shots. When thrown flat or on a slight anhyzer line, oh, those flex shots were just oh so easy. As you can see, backhand, it just holds really straight and then just has that nice predictable finish. But when it comes to forehand, if you can throw it flat or just on that slight anhyzer line, holds a gentle turn for about a third of the flight before leveling off, riding straight, and then having a nice forward penetrating finish. Again, it's not necessarily going to have a big dump at the very end and just kind of crash. It's going to fall forward. It's going to push forward as it's hyzering out, so you're going to be getting a lot of extra distance potential. And I'm not going to lie, but the feedback was one of the furthest flying discs for me ever when it comes to forehand. As you're seeing here, this shot is actually one of my longest forehand shots ever, and it was consistently going 10 to 15 feet further than other speed 9 and speed 10 drivers that I was throwing. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you can get it on these nice anhyzer lines early in the flight, let it kind of level itself out, and then just have a nice forward finish. Just makes a great combination for good distance. But let's get off the field and see how I would actually use this in real course situations. Now this is a very tight gap off the fairway with a lot of trees, a very defined fairway, and as a lefty or even you as a righty, what you want to do is throw a nice flex ante line and just know this is going to fight its way out and find the center of the fairway. Now, on a hole like this, for a righty, maybe not the best choice of disc unless you're throwing forehand, but for a lefty, I got this dead center tree, I've got the trouble off on the right. I'm going to throw this again on a flex line, just trust that it's going to have enough understability in the early flight, and just hold that, and then just have that nice stabilization and have it fade out at the very end. Now this is a very straightforward hole for a lefty. You got those trees down the fairway that you want the disc to hyzer out before, and that's exactly what I love using the feedback for. Just throw it flat and just trust that it's going to hyzer before it reaches those trees and get you around the corner. By the way, I'd say it does okay in a strong headwind. So for plastics, well really it's only in that 400 plastic, so maybe I'll try to get into more as it comes out in different plastic types down the road. So for the lefty lines, since it's the only plastic that it's come out in, I didn't have any other plastics to really try the feedback against, so instead I was trying it against other speed 9 and speed 10 drivers that I have that I thought are pretty similar. First, we have the Discraft Undertaker in Z plastic, and at lower torque, as you can see, it still has a little bit more turn in the mid-flight. than the feedback has, and then also the Disc Mania PD in the new C-line plastic. A little bit of turn in the mid-flight, but honestly I feel like it has the harshest fade of the group. Overall, when it comes to the feedback and say these discs, it kind of, honestly I feel like it fits in the middle. It almost flies like, I guess you could maybe say a seasoned PD, or for you Discraft throwers, it flies like an Undertaker OS. Just because I don't have the fastest arm when it comes to backhand, you're not going to see a huge amount of difference between the three discs. Primarily you can see the feedback and the PD have the least amount of turn in the mid-flight versus the Undertaker, but it's on the forehands where you're really going to see the difference. Now I mentioned the feedback with a lot of torque is going to come out of your hand almost on an anhyzer line even when thrown flat, versus like the Undertaker, you can really see the difference. The feedback leveled itself out and hyzered back. The Undertaker, it didn't. It just held the turn all the way to the ground. And the PD, yes, it gets turn in the mid-flight, but it's definitely the least out of the group and also had the strongest finish. So if you're looking for a very versatile disc that is going to have effortless flex shots when you put a lot of power and have a lot of torque behind it, or say on slower arm speeds, it's just going to ride out very straight and have a nice predictable finish, you really have to give the feedback a try, as I feel it stacks up very well against other discs that are pretty much mainstream in the market. I think it holds up very well. And I'm going to be honest here, but it really surprised me. In fact, might even say, might be making the bag for 2023. Yeah, stay tuned to find out for that one. Alright everyone, as always, please subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button on this video. Also, look at that. Even when you throw a bad shot, you still get a good reaction out of the feedback. Now, these are dropping, as I said, July 6th, so go visit GreatLakesDisc.com. Use promo code LEFTY at checkout to save 10% off your order. I hope you enjoy the feedback as much as I did. Until next time, everyone, keep banging them chains.